Velvet Buzzsaw is a horror satire film directed by Dan Gilroy. He is the director of Nightcrawler, a really enjoyable crime thriller film. Anyways, this movie is about three different characters. There's Morph. He is a scathing art critic who is really acerbic, so people live and die by his art reviews. Then there's also an art curator, Rodara, I think her name is, or something weird. Rodara? I'm just going with Rodara for now because I don't care. Anyways, played by Renee Russo. She's icy, art curator. And then there's a small-time assistant named Josephine who's trying to make it big. Josephine sees a man die in their apartment building, and she wanders into his apartment to find a cat and finds out that he's a reclusive painter named V. Dees. So Dees died, but he left hundreds of artworks in his apartment. Weird, cringy, sort of Rembrandt, not Rembrandt, but like Rembrandt-ish and Bosch kind of like horror sort of paintings, like stuff involving creepiness, like a father, imposing himself on a young girl and boy. Weird art, basically, that will find a market. So Josephine literally just takes them all, and then when she gets discovered by her boss, she goes, let's team up, I'm gonna need a lawyer. So they agree that she found them in the dumpster. That way no one can know about it. They hire a private detective to get rid of any other people who could have claimed the art, and together they decide to hype him up. Morph already has a liking to the art, and they're going to expedite this. So Renee Russo's character talks to another lady, and she's going to have a opening with 12 pieces of Dees's work, as well as a sphere. The sphere is like this weird electronic metal thing, and you put your arm in or whatever. Anyways, this movie is slow as hell. Basically, nothing happens for like half an hour, and then the first kill is a maintenance guy, wannabe artist, and basically Dees's art influences other art and causes them to become murderous. So like, it's a pretty interesting concept. Like right now I have a copy of one of Robert Jordan's books right next to me with a guy on it and a girl. So if they were to come out of the book and choke me right now, they could kill me. Or I have a psychology textbook over here that I use as a placemat, and there's a weird woman on there too. So any of these pieces of art would attack me right now. That's kind of the concept of Velvet Buzzsaw. But the movie doesn't work as a horror film, and it doesn't really work as a satire film because there's no rule system for the horror, right? I mean, you think Dees's work only attacks people who own his work, but then he doesn't. The first victim is someone who has barely anything to do with the art. He's just transferring some to a warehouse, and then you think, oh, okay, maybe Dees is just trying to kill anyone who's going to profit off his art because, the second kill is a man who bought two pieces for a rich collector, and then he goes after everyone else. Like the malevolent force starts going after all of the characters. But there's no real rule system. Like, what is the malevolent spirit's goal? Is it just complete and utter anarchy? Or it would be better if it had more of a definite theme, like it's only going after people who own the art, or it's only going after the people who are profiting off the art, because the first kill is literally just some lesser known assistant guy, and it really doesn't fit with the rest of the kills. The rest of the kills are interesting. There's some gory stuff like arms being taken off, hangings, stuff that looks like suicides, and especially the last, the climax is pretty interesting. But overall, the movie really misses the mark. I understand the satirical part. There's a few nice, satirical jabs, but they don't really hit home the theme. Like there's this character, he's like an up-and-coming artist who really likes Dees's work, and he starts hitting Josephine up, and he really likes the art in her room. But they should have shown him trying to take it after she gets targeted for being killed, because that should be the theme of the movie, that everyone wants this art and then the art ends up killing them. But they don't really hammer down any theme like that, and the movie is really slow in that regard. Like, it takes its time. It doesn't do its first kill until about 30-40 minutes into the movie, and then it sort of takes another break. And then there is one really good satirical scene where people at a museum think that a murder scene is installation art, which is a great, satirical jab, but, You know, they didn't really take it anywhere else besides that. So Velvet Buzzsaw does have a great cast. You have to admit. I mean, you got Rene Russo, Jake Gyllenhaal, you've got up-and-comers, you've got Toni Collette. But overall, it's very weak in theme. I do like the kill scenes, but it's not that scary. Velvet Buzzsaw definitely misses the mark. I give it a 2 out of 10. Or as Morph would say, it's a film vapid and shallow, trying to not drown in a sea of mediocrity. It's trying to gasp for air when there isn't anything there. 2 out of 10.